Did it feel good?
Yeah.
It used to feel good, by the way.
Lots of memories, I do.
I know, isn't that fun? Yeah, and that's just the thing. Stuff comes up. Stuff comes up. So be gentle with yourself when it does. Sometimes it's thrilling, sometimes it can be quite challenging, but this is the real deal. This is the real deal.
Yeah.
This is the raw. That was 3.5.
Was it really?
That was
Wow.
Yeah, so count how many words you got really quick. We're coming in for a landing here. Or shall I say we're coming into Harvard? What's that?
I started before everybody did.
I know, you were so excited. We're coming into Harvard here pretty soon, folks. We're going to tie up for the night. How you doing? Okay.
61.
Okay. So that was, so let's say 3 minutes, okay? So 3 times that. 3 times the number of words you've got here. How many have you got? 3 and a bit. You are something else. You are a shape. Okay, so I've done the arithmetic, and here it is. What you've just done, if you can do just 3 times more than you've just done right now, 10 minutes a day, to say you can conk out minimum 250 words.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. Here it comes, boys. Get a load of this. 5 days a week, 250 words, 10 minutes. In 1 year, you will have 60,000 words. How cool is that? How cool is that? 60,000 words of barf draft.
Your book is about 65,000 words.
It's 63.
63.
Yeah, 63 final words, of course. So how I like to leave you with that. I hope that this has been beneficial for you. Yes.
I need some clarification. Is this how you write every day, or is this how you write when you're feeling stuck?
This is the way you get your pearls onto the table. Yeah, this is diving down for stuff. And this is where you start working on things. You can use it for all kinds of things. When you're stuck, when you're continuing to work on a piece and you need to, your day, successively day after day, or that kind of thing. So you can use it for any time you dread bringing up the raw creative material. You bet. I use it when I get stuck in it. It's, it's kind of a form of brainstorming, only much more focused.
I do it every day. I just do it every day, and it doesn't matter what I'm looking.
Great. And I'll be looking forward to your 3-book series anytime. Yes, I'm holding you to it. Yes.
Yeah, just one question. What was the timer?
I'm sorry, I can't hear
What
you.
was the timer?
The timer.
On the first exercise?
Oh, that was 3 minutes.
Just 3 minutes.
Yeah, so that tonight we did just over 3 minutes, about 3.5 minutes. So, you can go a little bit more, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes over time. Just build it up. So, you're building up your endurance, yeah.
You were going to answer my question, you said remind you about enhancing the truth.
Exactly. What is the truth? What's the truth in your writing? There is a form of writing that was introduced in the 50s called creative nonfiction. I call it literary's love child. And it is like if journalism, hardcore old-fashioned journalism, and purple prose of the Victorian era had a baby, it would be called creative nonfiction. The interesting thing about creative nonfiction is that it is basically the full meal deal. It offers people tangible information, factual information that they can learn from in a very well-written and engaging story. So that's creative nonfiction. Memoir is considered creative nonfiction. Okay? So if you think of the words creative nonfiction, so this whole thing is that this is a topic that we could talk about for hours and hours and hours, is what is the truth? What is real? Simply, I will say this. When you are given factual information, turn yourself inside out to make it as accurate as possible. So it's kind of a silent, unwritten contract you have with your reader that says, this kind of stuff, I tried as hard as I could to give you as factual and true information as possible. These are facts. This is the name of the street I grew up on. It was 3.5 miles from my school. You know what I'm saying? One day I spent, speaking of 3.5 hours, figuring out on maps, and marine maps, and also from our aerial photography that you can now do on Google Maps, which is fantastic, the actual distance from the mouth of Bamfield Inlet to the fish camp. Obsessive compulsive? No. Responsible writing? Yes. Yeah, because what I was going to write was that it was 15 miles. It was not. It was 4 miles. So I decided to make a joke and have a little fun with my reader and said, you know, it felt like 20 miles when it was blowing a gale and we had a following sea of 30-foot waves, but it was actually 4. It's magically 4 miles became 20 in my little psyche, right? And you can have some fun with that, but you have to do that. So that kind of stuff has to be accurate. It is the deal you make with your readers. The other part of it is, anybody here come from a family? Do you have siblings? No.
They all remember.
Have you had events where you were talking about what happened that particular Christmas day? And then one person says, that's not what happened, that's ridiculous. And you say, were we even in the same family? Were we in the same house? So, what it's all about is factual information that you hold true by and work really hard to give the reader. And always keep in mind, this is your memory, your perception, your insight. So that's something to remind yourself and remind the reader and the other people that may be mentioned in your book is how I remember it was, how it felt to me was. So that's what the true purpose of memoir is this experience filtered through our psyche. And don't forget, we are remembering. How can you say that's exactly what happened? Seriously. How can you say that? You can't. You know that old thing about 10 people standing on a street corner and there's a car accident?
Yeah.
10 different accidents, and you were standing right there, staring into the intersection. The reason for that is everything we experience in the world is filtered through us.
Our experience.
Exactly. Our insights, our, all our perceptions, all our experiences in life, everything, our psyches, everything, is we make meaning out of the experiences of our lives. And that's what we're going for, is making meaning from the experiences of our lives. And that's what we're telling our reader. So when people get bogged down and say, well, what's real? We don't know. I can't tell you what's real. You can't even tell yourself what's real and true. I mean, how many people have fought about what happened? Even a small incident, So that's what you have to keep in mind. Number one, unless it was literally filmed, like Ken's been doing to me all night, I won't be able to lie about anything. It's all in that camera. You have not, unless you've got a photograph, or even photographs, even when we're looking at a photograph, we perceive, every person will perceive that photograph differently. So that's what it comes down to. Stuff that can be researched needs to be really accurate. The rest is bringing meaning to the experiences of our life. Does that help?
Yes, thank you. Yes, very much.
Good, I'm glad. Because that's a really amazing question, and it's one that we all struggle with at times, until we can come to peace with it and say, oh, it's just that. Bring meaning to the experience onto the page. Yes?
So is The Fisher Queen a memoir,
Yes, it is.
even though you've taken 3 seasons and put them into one?
That's right.
Okay. Okay.
I'm making meaning from that life experience.
Oh, okay.
I'm bringing it to the page for a purpose.
But the facts of 40 miles versus the 4 miles, okay.
So to be honest, 30 years ago, first of all, this is where the journals come really handy. An incredible working tool I had. I had the journal that I wrote every night in my bunk. during those seasons.
Supposed to be sleeping.
No, there's a line in the book that says, when the skipper said, "What the hell are you doing up here in the wheelhouse?" And I said, "I want to see the wave that's going to kill me." What am I, a pirate? So, I don't know. So, the journal is a very important part of it, because I had incredible accuracy there. That was really great. It was really, really great. To give it that depth, like I knew that day, we, exactly where we were, what fish we caught, what the weather was doing. So you don't want a book that was just that, because then it's just a fishing report. But it was another layer in the multiple layers of this story. I went to